And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And it shall come to pass in that day, that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. Isaiah 11:11. Verse 11 in context Isaiah 11, verse 11, therefore signifies a pivotal moment in this prophetic vision where the Lord will act again, as he did in the past, to gather the remnants of his people from various lands where they have been scattered. This gathering is not limited to a physical return to the land of Israel, but is also seen as a spiritual restoration and unification of the people under the leadership of the Messiah. Second Exodus. The phrase "the second time" echoes the Exodus narrative, suggesting a new act of deliverance and restoration akin to the Israelites' original deliverance from Egypt. This ties into the theme of redemption and restoration that runs throughout Isaiah. The geographical locations mentioned in Isaiah 11:11, such as Egypt and Cush, play a significant role in understanding the historical and prophetic context of the scattering and future gathering of the Israelites, especially within the framework of the exclusive doctrine of the Israelites. This interpretation places a strong emphasis on the physical and spiritual recovery of the Israelites, including those dispersed throughout the continent of Africa. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. Zephaniah 3:10. Historical dispersions. After the fall of the northern kingdom of Israel to the Assyrians in the 8th century BCE, it is believed that many Israelites were not only taken to Assyria, but also fled to various other regions, including into Africa. Over centuries, these dispersed groups have migrated further into the continent, integrating with local populations of children of Ham, while retaining aspects of their identity. The word Ethiopia is derived from the Greek word Ethiopia, which itself comes from the ancient Greek words aitho, I burn, and ops, face, thus giving it the meaning burnt face or burnt visage. This terminology was used by the Greeks to describe the dark-skinned people of Africa, or the land of Nubia, Egypt. The term likely reflected the Greeks' encounter with the dark-skinned people, so-called black people, or Nubians, and ancient Egyptian people who lived in the region. The intellectual exchange between ancient civilizations has been a cornerstone in the development of philosophical thought, a process vividly illustrated in the interaction between Greek and Egyptian knowledge systems. This cross-cultural dialogue, particularly during the Hellenistic period, profoundly influenced the development of ancient Greek philosophy and the subsequent creation of pivotal works, including the translation of the Hebrew scriptures into Greek, known as the Septuagint. The Septuagint was produced in stages, beginning in the 3rd century BCE, primarily in Alexandria, Egypt, which was a major center of Hellenistic culture and Jewish diaspora. According to a tradition recorded in the letter of Aristeas, the initial translation effort focused on the Torah or Pentateuch and was commissioned by Ptolemy II, Philadelphus, the ruler of Egypt. The project was ostensibly undertaken to include the Hebrew scriptures in the famed Library of Alexandria and to provide the Greek-speaking Jewish community with a version of their sacred texts in the lingua franca of the time. The translation of the Hebrew Scriptures into Greek, known as the Septuagint, under the patronage of Alexander the Great's successor in Egypt, Ptolemy II Philadelphus, is another testament to the cross-fertilization of cultures during this era. According to tradition, 70 or 72 Judean scholars were commissioned to undertake this monumental task, reflecting the Hellenistic rulers' appreciation for the cultural and religious heritage of their Judean subjects. 1 Esdras, also known as 3 Esdras in the Vulgate, 2 Esdras, also known as 4 Esdras, or the Apocalypse of Ezra, Tobit, Judith, additions to Esther, Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach or Ben Sira, Baruch, including the letter of Jeremiah, Baruch 6, the prayer of Azariah and Song of the Three Holy Children, Susanna, Bel and the Dragon, prayer of Manasseh, 1 Maccabees, 2 Maccabees, 3 Maccabees, 4 Maccabees, in an appendix to the Greek Bible or in the Orthodox canon, Psalm 151. The Septuagint itself is a translation of the Hebrew Scriptures into Greek. The book chronicles the oppression of the Judeans by the Seleucid Greeks and the Maccabean revolt. The historical backdrop is an essential part of the intertestamental period, which is the era between the events narrated in the Old Testament and the New Testament. This period saw significant developments that are crucial for understanding the context in which the Septuagint was used and the subsequent historical narratives that unfolded, such as those involving the Maccabees. The Maccabean history is extensive, but for the purpose of a brief understanding of why the book is historically important, it recounts the story of the Judeans who fought against the oppression of the Greeks. The family of Mattathias became known as the Maccabees, from the Hebrew word for hammer, because they were said to strike hammer blows against their enemies. The Judean Maccabees, but the family is more commonly known as the Hasmoneans. Mattathias, the patriarch of the Maccabean family. He was a Judean priest who initiated the revolt by refusing to worship the Greek gods and killing a Hebrew man who was about to do so, as well as the king's official who was enforcing the worship. Judas Maccabeus, one of the sons of Mattathias. He was a skilled warrior and leader who took up the mantle of leadership after his father's death. He is celebrated for his victories over the Seleucid armies, including the recapture and purification of the Jerusalem temple. Jonathan Aphus, another son of Mattathias, Jonathan succeeded Judas as leader of the Maccabees. He was instrumental in securing political autonomy and high priesthood for the family, establishing the Hasmonean dynasty. Simon Thassi, also a son of Mattathias, Simon succeeded Jonathan as leader. He achieved full independence for Judea and was acclaimed as leader, high priest, and commander by the people. John Hyrcanus I, the son of Simon Thassi, John Hyrcanus, he expanded the Hasmonean domain and consolidated its power. He is known for his conquests and for beginning the Hasmonean coinage. Aristobulus I, the son of John Hyrcanus I, he declared himself king, becoming the first Hasmonean to take this title. His reign was brief, but marked the official transition of the Hasmonean leaders from high priests to kings of Judea. Alexander Jannaeus, another son of John Hyrcanus I. His reign was marked by military campaigns and significant expansion of the Hasmonean kingdom, as well as internal strife due to his policies. Salome Alexandra, the wife of Alexander Jannaeus, and one of the only 2 female rulers in ancient Jewish history. She was known for her wise rule, focusing on peace and the Pharisaic law. The Septuagint played a crucial role in the spread of Black Hebrew scriptures among the Greek-speaking world, significantly impacting the development of early Christian theology and the philosophical interpretations of religious texts. The influence of Egyptian knowledge on Greek philosophy, therefore, extends beyond mere intellectual curiosity, representing a deeper integration of insights from one of the world's oldest civilizations into the fabric of Greek thought. This interaction not only enriched Greek philosophy, but also facilitated a broader understanding and appreciation of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Black Hebrew Scriptures through their translation into the lingua franca of the Hellenistic world, thereby shaping the intellectual landscape of the Mediterranean basin in profound ways. Eldad the Danite, who appeared in the 9th century, is traditionally believed to have been a Black African Hebrew. He arrived in the city of Kairouan in Algeria, which was known for its famous Talmudic school. Eldad's narrative about a Hebrew empire south of the Sahara in the western Sudan supports this view. He claimed that the Hebrews in Africa spoke a Phoenician Hebraic language mixed with Arabic and had a religion that traced back to Moses, with a Hebrew emperor believed to be named Tlutan or Bulatan. This information, drawn from my knowledge sources, indicates that Eldad the Danite was of African Hebrew ethnicity. Israelite tribes in Africa, according to documented facts. The Lemba Bantu of southern Africa. West African Judeans. Judeans of the Empire of Ghana. Judeans of Mali. Judeans of Songhay. Judeans of Ethiopia. Tabiban Kamant Jews. Wasambara Jews of East Africa. Judeans of the Madagascar. Jews of Angola. Jews of Ashanti. Jews of Dahomey. The Yoruba Jews of Nigeria. Igbo Jews of Nigeria. Judeans of Egypt.